We've got Ambassador James Woolsey joining us right now, the former CIA Director, among so many other titles. But Ambassador, what is at stake here? Do you agree with what the President is going to outline?
From what I can tell, it sounds like he's going to outline a wise overall approach that undercuts this terrible agreement. I think what is really important for people to realize is that this is important enough to be a treaty, and under any other circumstances it would be a treaty, and then under Article 2 of the Constitution, it takes 2/3 of the Senate to approve it. That's not what the Obama administration and Senator Corker and some others did. They fiddled around with the cloture rule, the length of debate rule for the Senate, and said that they could use that in order to make it only 1/3 of the Senate that was required to approve this agreement, which I think should be called a treaty, because virtually everything else in American history that is anywhere nearly as important as this in international relations would be a treaty and not an executive agreement. They cannot, however, as far as I think most constitutional lawyers would state, they cannot make the Constitution substitute 1/3 for 2/3 and get a ruling on the validity of this treaty or this agreement, treaty, with only a 1/3 vote, which is what they did back 2 years ago. So I think.
So let me ask you about that, Ambassador, just to be clear. Let's say the rest of the world doesn't know the intricacies of our system and that President Obama, excuse me, sir, went too far. All they're seeing is we're abdicating an agreement, right?
Well, we're saying that the Obama administration sent the wrong thing to the U.S. Senate. They should have sent a requirement for a 2/3 vote, but they were violating the American Constitution, so they only said they needed 1/3. And I don't know that that is too complex to lay on foreign governments.
All right, let's sort of play this out. The President is not saying he's going to reimpose sanctions. He's not saying, Ambassador, he wants to start from scratch.
Right.
So what I don't understand is what he is saying. I know the part about the Revolutionary Guard, referring to it as a terrorist group, but beyond that, what is changing here?
Well, it's hard without having heard the entire speech, but it sounds like what he is doing is saying that the overall approach is something that we have to take in hand as a way of contributing to stopping the Revolutionary Guard. They are at war with us, and we can't just kind of nod and smile and tip a hat to them and let them profit by our own machinations in the rules of the Senate.